We have an update for you tonight on an area teen who's battling brain cancer. She is brutally honest about her challenges, but also provides an inspiring message about living. This is the life Morgan Cotman loves.
Thanks, time.
With friends, going to school.
All right, with my clothes up. I hang out with my family and my friends a lot. I had a job.
After all, when they tell you you're dying, you have a lot of living to do.
You have only 3 choices. You can never let it destroy you, define you, or strengthen you. That's a quote that I've gone through since day one.
For the past year, since undergoing chemo and radiation for the inoperable brain tumor doctors found when Morgan was in 8th grade, life has been miraculously nearly normal for the 15-year-old Seaman High School sophomore and her friends.
She's really strong and brave, and she's really funny and fun to be around.
She was Morgan again, and she felt good, and she was happy, and she was bubbly.
But in late September, it all changed.
I started getting tired and I started getting dizzy, and then I realized that, it's probably my brain tumor growing back again, and then it was.
The tumor, now the size of a lemon, is growing aggressively inside Morgan's head. But the girl they call Mighty Mo refuses to let it get her down.
There's me and Caden. He's actually
focusing instead on all she's enjoyed, like becoming an aunt to her sister Kelsey's son Caden and seeing her brother Jacob achieve his dream of entering the Marines later this month.
Yeah, we got to swim with the dolphins.
Traveling with her family, even going with friends to meet her favorite singer, Austin Mahone.
You signed my poster.
Parents Christine and Jerry have made it a point to help Morgan experience all she can.
Bottom line, fight, and she's been fighting. We just keep dangling little carrots out in front of her face and telling her this is where we're going to go next, so she has to keep doing well.
These days, though, Morgan is packed not for a trip of a lifetime.
I usually bring one of those blankets over there.
But for trips they hope will add time to her life. She just started a clinical trial through a Michigan hospital that maybe, just maybe, could stall her tumor again.
But I didn't want to do nothing.
Still, amid the hope is reality, like this book of questions for Morgan to consider.
What kind of funeral do you want? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to... Just things like the 15-year-old shouldn't have to be deciding.
Morgan has started filling it out. She won't let anyone see it just yet.
Because it has a secret message in it.
Until the day it is revealed, Morgan will keep living.
Mr. Pierce, smile.
The tumor has affected her balance and speech, but she goes to school as much as she can. She plans to manage the girls' basketball team, helping the friends with whom she used to play.
I wasn't grateful for the life that I have, and I'm definitely grateful now.
It's a lesson her friends take to heart.
To live every day to the fullest, because you don't know when it's going to be our last day with her or with any of us.
And while she's not ready to go, Morgan is proud of what she'll leave behind.
I love them, and that Kelsey's a great mom, and Jacob's going to do really great in the Marines, and yeah, I think that they'll be okay.
And after we visited Morgan at school yesterday, she started experiencing some severe symptoms, and she underwent surgery today that is expected to relieve them. Community members are holding a benefit garage sale to help Morgan and her family. It is from 7 to 5 this Saturday at Mother Teresa Catholic Church on Northwest 46th Street. You can hear more from Morgan, including what's on her bucket list, and also find a link to her Miracles for Morgan page at WIBW.com. It has now been 3 weeks since Topeka Police Corporal Jason Harwood was shot and killed in the line of duty. Tonight, for the first time, his twin brother and fellow law enforcement officer Jeremy speaks publicly about who his brother was, the outpouring of support for their family, and putting on the uniform without his other half. Jeremy and Jason Harwood were two of a kind, yet completely different.
The whole world could fall apart around him, and he would act like nothing was going on.
They were mirror images, right down to Jason's left-handedness and Jeremy's right. For them, it worked.
He could finish my sentences and I could finish his. He was just the perfect fit for me, as a person, as a good friend, best friend, brother. I could just count on him for anything.
Games of cops and robbers as kids grew into careers in law enforcement.
We are always worried about everybody else, not just ourselves. And that kind of just stuck with us growing through life, is that we wanted to help people.
Jeremy became a trooper with the Kansas Highway Patrol. Jason went to work for the Topeka Police Department. Both married and had children, but it was their twin to whom they'd reach out to talk about the unique stresses of their jobs.
It's different when you get into a situation that you know was dangerous. I didn't want to necessarily tell the wife what I had just done, but I could tell my brother and he would understand because he dealt with it all the time too.
And they shared that special, almost telepathic connection only twins can understand.
There's times when I get a pain in my left knee or something, and I'd find out that about the same time he had twisted his knee or something.
But the night of September 7th, Jeremy says he felt nothing. As his brother walked up to a vehicle and the driver pulled a gun and fired several shots, Jeremy had no sense something had gone horribly wrong until he got that call.
It breaks your heart. It's like a sucker punch in the gut. It's rough, still rough.
Jeremy says they knew the risks. He especially thought it through 2 years earlier when TPD officers David Gogian and Jeff Atherley died in the line of duty. But he says there are things for which you can't prepare.
I'll never hear his voice, I'll never get a hug. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
But helping to smooth the road is the outpouring of support from the community, like the flags that lined the streets as Jason's body was moved from the funeral services at the Expo Center to his final resting place at Penwell Gable Cemetery.
It's unreal how many people are showing respect.
The gentlemen, the Hardwood family, are here to help us celebrate the game.
That includes Jason's beloved Kansas State Wildcats. Saturday, Jeremy joined Jason's wife and 2 sons on the field to be honored before the game. They'd previously received more than 150 letters from players, coaches, and staff. Even head coach Bill Snyder sought them out.
He was all about the Wildcats, and now he gets, a tribute to him. He's looking up smiling, I tell you that.
In a few weeks, Jeremy will be back on the roads, fulfilling their brotherly mission to help others, the same way he always has, but yet completely different.
That first traffic stop, that's going to be the first thing on my mind. Part of me's died. I'll never be the same again.
But yet, you will still put on the uniform?
You betcha.
Any reservations at all?
Nope.
Why not?
Because that's what he would want me to do. That's what he would want me to do. He stood for something, and I'd want everybody to understand what he stood for. And it was helping people.
Jeremy also says he hopes Jason's death continues to remind people of the positive work officers do for their communities.
It was indeed a book club that brought 2 Shawnee Heights women together in a way they never dreamed. As Melissa tells us now, their story is one of loss and life with a vital message.
Debbie Blaker and Paula Otten bonded over books, but that's a recent chapter in their lives, while both grew up and still live in the Shawnee Heights community.
We have a lot of mutual friends together.
Their stories unfolded on separate pages.
I found out back in 1998 that I had lupus and that it had gotten into my liver, therefore destroying my own liver.
Debbie needed a transplant. It took 18 long months before a donor finally was found in June 2012.
I had gone unconscious prior to the surgery. There was no doubt I had hours to live.
It was while Debbie was recovering that she joined the book club to which Paula belonged. Paula was still reeling from her own tragedy.
Mark's the baby. He's my younger brother.
Friends had thrown her 43-year-old brother, Mark Coker, a birthday party at a farm.
He was standing on the back of a Jeep, and they were driving down to another outbuilding, and he just fell off the back and hit his head.
Mark never regained consciousness. 24 hours later, the staff at Stormont Vale approached Paula's family. Would they consider donating Mark's organs?
My folks just said, we have to make something good out of this. And so, it was almost like it was a suggestion, and this is the right thing to do.
That December at book club, a nurse from Stormont gave a talk about organ donation. Debbie and Paula each shared their personal connection to the issue. Then Paula passed around a letter her family received from the Midwest Transplant Network, telling about 5 people who'd received Mark's organs.
In there, right on the front page, was the liver went to a Midwest recipient who was 50 years old, was married with a daughter, and loved to read and sell candles. And I knew then that there was no doubt in my mind it was me at that point.
But recipients and donor families must follow rules. So Debbie asked the Stormont nurse to reach out to Midwest Transplant and find out if her donor family had received a letter she'd written to them. The next month at book club, Debbie had her answer.
I turned around and she was holding my thank you letter to the family.
It was just like really unbelievable that it could be somebody so close.
To this day, I owe them my life. No one understands waiting those 18 months, what it was like every day not knowing if you'd see the next day.
Now, Debbie and Paula make it their mission to share their story so other people might live to write a new chapter in theirs.
People don't really know how important it is, and it's usually a situation where you can't think about it or you don't want to think about it.
Every day I thank God for what this family did, because they did not have to do it. And they chose to, in a very hard time, to make that decision.
Parallel tales intersecting at a crucial point in the plot, leading to their happy ending.
I've gained a sister in a way that I never had.
Melissa, awesome story. Thank you for that. An average of 18 people die every day waiting for their organ transplant. So to help, you can register as an organ donor at DonateLifeKansas.com.